Joining us now is Pete Snyder. Pete, great to have you with us, man.
Johnny Fredericks, 48th out of 50, I think your listeners should know, in your NCAA picks in the Disruptor Madness brackets. How do you feel about that, John? I think you are in hot contention for winning the Toilet Bowl title, which is the worst picks in the pool for the second year in a row.
Well, my goal is just not to finish last, and so far I've got 2 legs up. I feel pretty good, though, going forward because my 2 teams making it to the finals I feel really good about. Duke survived a scare. They actually had no business winning that game. They did.
Zero business.
Right?
You think the media is rigged for against the president? The media is rigged in sports for Duke all the time. And
it
the rest.
Really is.
It was ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And, it's interesting watching that game. I picked Duke, obviously, to get to the finals. I didn't bet any money on it. But I found myself rooting for the Orlando team, like, almost immediately since the game started, just like to beat the evil Duke. But I don't see anybody beating them now to get to the finals. They survived that game. And then I love the Houston Cougars getting to the finals. This is one of the most underrated teams in the NCAA. Look, you can't beat Duke with that Zion Williams guy. He's just a beast. But if I can
North Carolina beat him 2 times this year, man.
Yeah, without him though, he didn't play.
Oh, he'll flip it to him.
Yeah, he didn't play. When he plays,
No,
he wins.
That's not true. Absolutely not true.
Well, I know you're a Virginia guy. I don't like the way the Hoos play basketball. I don't like their coach. I don't like the style. That's just me. I can't stand. They're the most boring games. Nobody scores. They pass the ball 72 times, shoot the ball. So I hope they get beat.
Oh, my gosh, wait a minute. They are all about fundamentals and not about flair. Is that what you're saying?
No, they don't.
Like it just because they actually can play defense?
I don't. Look, I coached basketball for a long time. I got to score. If I outscore the other team, I win. It's just a difference in style, and so it is what it is. Maybe they'll win. I think if they play any team that can shoot an abundance of threes and get back in transition quickly, they're gonna lose. That's why I didn't pick them. But look, if I finish 50th, do you know how tough it is to finish last twice? That's tough.
Well, I think this year, unfortunately, you're not going to win it. I would love to see you lose. Steve Mullins, I believe, who is right now in the basement, son of former party chairman, the late Pat Mullins, did all of his picks based on religious affiliation and Rush, the Canadians, not Rush Talk Radio, numerology. So he had Christian Abilene in the finals against Liberty, with Liberty winning. Not going to happen. I think the guy's got like 10 points. So unless there is some divine intervention, I think he's going to take the title.
All right, John Whitbeck just texted in and said, this is the most boring basketball commentary I have ever heard, so we better get off it. Okay, Johnny Whitbeck. By the way, John, when you were chairman, did you ever win a statewide race in Virginia, John? Let me check. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You lost 15 in a row, Johnny. Johnny, if I were you, I wouldn't be criticizing our basketball commentary. All right, let's get to baseball, Pete. I know you're a Phillies fan.
He will be the next chairman of the Board of Supervisors of Loudoun County. The guy's got momentum right now, man. Talk about
how do you win in Loudoun?
All
the Democrats are now winning in Loudoun. How do you possibly win in Loudoun County?
He's got a great field organization. He has a very weak incumbent that he's going against, and he has a great record in the business community. That's how you do it, John.
Plus, he's a great guy. Give him that, right?
He's a great guy.
And he's got a wonderful family.
Wise ass, but a terrific guy.
Yeah, well, I think he'd be a good chairman. No question about it. Loudoun County. All right, I'm for that. All right, Pete, let's get to baseball. Okay, you got to be really pumped now about your Phillies. Remember, without Bryce Reeves, the Phillies were in the hunt last season. What did I say? Bryce Reeves? Harper. Without Bryce Harper, they were in the hunt up till the final, 3 weeks before they collapsed. Vegas has got him the second choice to get to the World Series in the NL. What do you think?
Look, I'm fired up. I'm heading with a couple of childhood friends up to Philadelphia for opening day, Bryce Harper Day on Thursday. So I feel good. I love the pitching rotation. I like the bats. Having McCutcheon in there as well is going to be huge for the team. I like them. I like a Houston Astros, Philadelphia Phillies NL championship.
You know,
With Phil's
obviously
name.
I'm biased. I like that
Let's
also.
make a bet right here.
I think it's a good pick. I don't like the Nationals this year at all. I can't see them. I don't like the organization. I don't like Strasburg. I don't like how they baby him. I think they bad. They just got bad juju going on. So I'm just not a Nationals guy. I don't see them. Atlanta has no pitching whatsoever. They don't have a single legitimate starter on that team. So, and they don't have a closer. So I don't like Atlanta. So I think you guys win, and we'll see how it goes. As far as the AL is concerned, boy, the Astros look really tough. And I'm just not saying that because I'm a 50-year fan, but great pitching, great middle relief. We got a legitimate closer. 1-9, they all hit. Great defense, speed. They got it all. I think they're going to be really tough to beat.
So who do you have in the East? You got. I think the Yankees are certainly on the rise. I think they're going to clip the Sox this year. So
Yankees.
Yes. I like Houston Red Sox for the AL championship. Face the Phillies. Phillies win.
Look, I mean, you look at the NL. There's not the really tough teams in there like you got in the AL. You got the Yankees, Boston, the Astros. Cleveland's going to be tough. Yeah, I like Yankees to win the division along with Cleveland, Astros, wild card, Red Sox, and then in the other league, LA. I think is going to run away with the West. LA is going to run away with the West, and then Phillies and the Central might be a little more competitive. On paper, you'd pick Milwaukee, but it seems like whatever team the Cardinals have, they seem to be in it up until the final week every single season. So I think that's going to be tough. But I like your pick, Astros, Phillies, World Series. I'm for that. And Pete, we have to go to 2 games. Pete takes me to Philadelphia. I'll take Pete to Minute Maid. Deal?
Done.
All right. We'll see
John
how it goes.
Fredericks Empire is thriving these days. You were going to pick up the tab for both because
no, you're going to take me to
NCAA bracket, and
you're going to take me.
It'll be terrific.
No, absolutely not.
Who doesn't want to go to Houston in October, right?
You're going to take me to Philadelphia. I'm not going to get involved buying a ticket there. I'll take you to Texas. That's our deal.
Done. Let's
you
do
pay
it, man.
for Philadelphia.
Fire
I
up.
pay for Texas. All right? Done. Hope we have that opportunity. Okay, let's get to politics here. I want to start with you were in Chicago yesterday. What's going on with this Jussie Smollett situation?
Well, John, you were leading before I got on the air just about the ridiculous media bias and especially what fake news CNN has been up to for the past 2 years. And if you watched any coverage of CNN yesterday with this insane Jussie Smollett thing, where basically the Commonwealth's attorney or whatever they call it in Cook County dropped all the charges against this guy, and here's a guy who made up a hate crime hoax, had fake anthrax sent to the studio where he works so he'd get a raise. That didn't work. He fakes a beating, vicious beating, where has friends pour bleach on him and put a noose around his neck, reports it to the media, is wall-to-wall everywhere. And, because he hates Donald Trump and is a Democrat, he gets off. And, I'm in Chicago yesterday just for business. And, when you're in Washington, John, people kind of feel you out if you're Republican or Democrat before they really engage in policy or discussion. That's just the way the town works. Chicago, not the case. I had people all over the place, just randomly, in the airport, at lunch, just coming up to you and saying, "Oh my gosh, what do you think of this? This is insane! I can't believe they're letting that SOB get off." And it's just the town was outraged. The cops were outraged. I never thought I'd be rooting for Rahm Emanuel, but Chicago Mayor, longtime Clinton aide, Rahm Emanuel was absolutely livid about this. And it's all because the guy was connected. The guy hated Trump, and the guy was a Democrat, and that's it. And that's a Democrat town. So the town is really up in arms about this. It is, absolute justice gone awry, and I think it's going to have long-term consequences.
Where was
but
Pete Snyder?
If you watched any TV yesterday on CNN,
right,
all they said was, Smollett vindicated, charges dropped. Now, what was the standard that they had for Donald Trump, right? All the Chiron said on CNN when the Mueller report completely cleared the president after they had been on the bandwagon spreading lies for 2 years was that wasn't exonerated, right? Double standard is unbelievable.
Well, it is. And I remember going back to the press conference that the police chief had. Remember that? And he absolutely excoriated the guy. I mean, he just skewered him for like 30 minutes at a press conference, which is very rare for police to do, for cops to do. But obviously he was really mad about that. And now the guy just gets off, and then he doesn't even get his bond back, which seems odd to me. But
well, John, I actually think there's going to be, and from what I was hearing from folks in Chicago, there's going to be an investigation on how this thing went down. Evidently, there was a former aide to, Chicago is an Oprah and Obama town, right? Those are the people that run the town. And evidently, one of the former chief of staff to Michelle Obama was the fixer here. And I guess there were a bunch of texts between her and the lead prosecutor in Chicago and about letting him off and cutting him a deal, and that's exactly what happened. So if you hire a lobbyist or some connected person to the Obamas, you can get off.
It certainly appears that way, Pete. It certainly appears to be a decision of privilege and not based on facts, based on what the police said and how adamant they were about how this was a hoax. Let's get to I got to bring a third party in here, Pete, the pig rig. He's been on ice for a long time. He would like to come back and make a few comments. Kara, let's hear from Pete's pig rig.
Okay, we on? Well, folks, we knew it was coming. For those who don't know me, this is Pete's Pig Rig. The barbecue smoker Pete Snyder is hauling around Virginia as he's running for lieutenant governor. What? Never heard of a talking barbecue smoker? Ha! Seems old Pete's bold conservative ideas are hitting home. Conservative leaders across the state, Oliver North to Mike Ferris, say Pete Snyder's the best conservative to lead Virginia forward. Makes me proud. Pete's a true outsider. So surprise, all them political insiders will say anything to stop Pete. Emails, robocalls, all the tricks they know. They don't want an outsider crashing their party. So we gotta smoke them out. That's where I come in. If you want to shake things up in Richmond, Pete's your guy. Take it from this ironclad conservative. Pete Snyder for lieutenant governor, proven conservative and world-certified barbecue judge. Yep, you heard me right. All right, pig rig out.
Paid for and authorized by Pete Snyder for lieutenant governor.
Wednesday, Pete, we had to bring the pig rig back from your 2013 lieutenant governor campaign.
What kind of weird secret relationship do you have? You've been running around with the pig rig all these years.
The pig rig and now you're tight.
Behind my back. Unbelievable.
Because, look,
it's funny. I think that, are you doing some sort of like Geico, ad Hall of Fame on the John Fredericks show?
I should do that, right?
You're bringing back all the golden oldies?
I really should do that. You know what? That is a great idea. Karen and I are going to work on that. I should bring back the best ads. That would be probably up there with one of the best ads ever, the pig rig ad, where they say, we're going to smoke them out. They're going to throw everything at you, emails, robocalls, every trick they know. That's pretty funny.
I'm biased, John. I'd love to say that's the number one feed. I do. I have a special affinity for the Shaft Peterson Shaft ads. I think they're pretty damn good, and they may give the pig ring a run for their money, but I hope we take the title of the ad.
Well, the Shaft ads are definitely up there also. He's got a new ad now that's been on forever, which is pretty good, but the Shaft ad was really good from the theme, the Shaft. All right, let's get to politics here. I got a text from Nick in Virginia Beach. He says, "Hey Johnny, do you really think Scott Taylor could defeat Mark Warner in 2020? He lost in his own Republican-leaning district as an incumbent. That tells me he has zero chance statewide. What do you think, Pete?"
Well, first and foremost, Scott Taylor's a good man. I think if he gets back in the arena, he can certainly win in the 2nd district, and I think he would give Mark Warner a real run for his money, especially given with what you were saying earlier. Mark Warner is a man without a country, a man without a party these days. I mean, think about it. He helped revive the Democrats, really got them on the winning streak that they've been on, kind of starting in 2001 when he became governor. And he was as close to a Republican. He was a pretty conservative guy back then. And the country and his party left him. So here he is yesterday voting present on the atrocious AOC Green New Deal that would cost Virginia trillions of dollars and just decimate many of our industries, let alone the country's. Then he's spreading all sorts of lies for 2 years about having hardcore evidence of real collusion between Donald Trump and the Russians. So, I don't know what Mark Warner is doing these days. I don't recognize him from the guy that I used to know, and that makes him vulnerable. So whether it's Scott Taylor or someone else, I think he's going to be a lot more vulnerable than people think this year.
I agree with you, Pete. I agree with you. I think exactly that. And the fact that he voted president yesterday was shocking to me. I mean, first of all, I had to deal with him going on TV every week for 2 years telling me about Russian collusion. And then he has an opportunity to simply tell the truth, which is, this is about the stupidest thing I've ever seen. No. And he votes president in, I guess, solidarity with the whack job set or whatever he's doing. I thought that was ill-advised. Hopefully I'm going to get him on my show next week. Meantime, Pete Snyder,
well, John,
I am out of time.
Let me touch on that for a quick second, because I think that obviously I think Mark Warner has problems, but I think this is indicative of a lot of people in the Democratic Party right now. Think about it. I mean, the party has gone so off the rails. A lot of these folks don't know how to deal with it. So you look at John Hickenlooper, former governor of Colorado, running for president. He was like a beer guy and an entrepreneur. He's asked if capitalism is a good thing, and he can't answer the question.
Yeah.
You look at the contortions that many of these candidates are doing. All of them endorsed the Green New Deal. All of them are saying crazy things. All of them had said that they were certain that there was collusion between Russia and the president. It's just a party that's going off the rails, and it's going to have severe consequences, starting in 2020. Many of these guys are going to lose because they're just simply out of touch with where America is.
AOC, Pete, is the gift that keeps on giving. So,
and there's no stopping her, brother. There's no stopping her. I mean, Mark Warner is going to have to bow down to AOC. All of the 2020 candidates are kissing the ring there, and she's a force to be reckoned with. She's nuts on the issues, and she doesn't know anything. But boy, is she a force, and she's going to create a ton of havoc in that party for a long time.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch as they go down the tubes. Pete, thanks for being with us. We're out of time.